So we're going to talk about morphology and syntax. Does anybody know what morphology and syntax are already?
Enlightenment.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So morphology is the study of words and how they're put together. And syntax is the study of how you arrange words in order to make sense of them.
Those are very similar hand gestures, just so you know.
So together, and then in order. All right, so we're not going to talk too much about the details, but we'll see how it relates to your creating of text. So what is morphology? We went over this. So it's the study of words and word structure. So what is a word? What does a word look like? So it can vary from different kinds of languages. So an example, a word in the Shutzid, it says Native American language in Washington State. A whole word is like a whole sentence. It has who's doing what, to who, when, and where, just all in one unit. Or a language like English, each word, you need many, many words to express an idea. I can't just say be, and you know what I'm trying to communicate. You need to have a little more, like who's. Okay, so we have to learn about morphology so you can piece apart the words in your language and figure out how they're put together and describe them for other people who are interested. Okay, so a word. It's a kind of a tough definition. I mean, what's a word? Right? We're all linguists, we should know what a word is, but it's like one of those questions that make us go, right? If somebody asks you, what's a word? But anyhow, so here's a sample definition. Something you could say by itself, or that you could use as part of a phrase or sentence, like a complete utterance almost. It's like the most minimal complete utterance, perhaps something could be a word. All right? But we divide them into little bits, smaller bits, and those bits are called morphemes. So we have stems and bases, which is sort of the smallest part. So we'll look at a stem or a base here in a minute. And then we have stuff that we stick onto the stem and the base, affixes. Go in the beginning, the end, go in the middle. They can go all sorts of places, around. So anyhow, they change the meaning and help us do new stuff to our bases and our stems. So let's do some affix spotting. So remember, affixes are things that get stuck onto words to make them new words. So can you find the base and the affix in this one? Happy is our base, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's our affix? And what does un mean?
Not.
Right? So we can stick it on something to make not happy. So yay, un plus happy equals unhappy. How about lovable?
Love.
Yep. And then the affix, anybody?
Able.
Able. So, and able means you can do it. So lovable is something you can love. All right, now somebody else for our last one. Uncomfortable, it's a doozy. So, comfort, right? So, uncomfortable, something that you're not able to be comfortable on. There we go. Anyhow, common types of affixes. We have prefixes, so stuff that got stuck on the front. So we just saw un. Un was a prefix. Oh, it's right there. And suffix, stuff that goes on the end. Able. So, but you can also have something called an infix, which some of your languages might have, where you stick something in the middle of a word to change it. So watch out for those. So what do you see in these sets? So we will spot some affixes and see if we can find them. So what do writer, composer, hunter, and player all share in common?
Ending in ER.
Right, and what is an ER?
That means
It means, yeah, what?
someone.
Someone who
Yes.
does it, yeah. Yeah, we have funny words like steal to. Okay, next one, we have reproduce, restore, regain, or reload. How about these ones?
Read.
Read, okay. So,
Again.
yeah, exactly, do it again. So I think we're getting this. So affixes, you can show different kinds of stuff. So like in example A, we see the stuck onto the end there that shows you more than one, plurality. So car versus cars, desk versus desks, teacher versus teachers. On adjectives, so not just nouns, but other kinds of words, you can stick on the end, a different and make it like a degree. So it's not easy, it's easier. It's not cheap, it's cheaper, etc. Or sometimes they can talk about tense, so things that happen in time or completion, you stick it on a verb. So they can go all different kinds of speech. So like ask, asked, talk, talked, develop, developed. So many different uses. But there's not just things, there's other kinds of morphological stuff you can do to words to make new words. So one that you can do is called compounding. So you can stick things together, like we do in English there, to make new words. So afternoon becomes afternoon. Bed and room becomes bedroom. And it's not always just so simple like a bedroom is a room with a bed. It can become a new concept, right? So like blackbird. It's not just any bird that's black, it's a specific kind of bird. So compounding, you take two words and you smush them together. Reduplication, so is when you take a part of the word and you copy it somewhere else or make it happen again to change the meaning. So we have, biddy and then be biddy. So buy and will buy. Or like in the Shitzi, I love this language, you have the word for cat is pish pish. If you take the first two sounds and go pee pish pish, you have a kitten. And if you went pee pee pish pish, you have kittens. So you can do all sorts of funny stuff to words to make them. So reduplication, it's fun. Okay. Alternation. So yeah, sometimes the word will just change on its own. Maybe something has happened in the past that was very obvious, but now it's not so obvious, like what it was in English. So foot alternates with feet. So it's not even something that's getting stuck on the end, but we call it ablaut, something is changing, the vowel sound is changing. And then suppletion is just something that it's totally irregular, but they go together for some reason. So like, we have went. So we don't say goed, which would be like, you would think would be the past tense of go in English, but we have went instead. It comes from a whole other word, but it still serves the same function as go would. So, compounding, reduplication, alternation, and suppletion. Some other friends to look for. Okay, this is important because we're going to start taking our text and we're going to do what's called glossing to them. So you want to take a text, like here we have Inga har mycket energi den Monday. So Inga has much energy each Monday, right? So she's almost energetic on Mondays. So you have like a translation at the bottom, you have the original text. What we're going to start doing is figuring out how the words are structured. So we can go through them and you can break them apart and show people which bits do what. So this is very simple, almost every word just means what it looks like, but har means third person singular. So it's a third person form of the verb, not the plural or something like that, but a second person. So, and teach you how to make these kind of symbols so people can, even if they don't speak your language, they can go through and see these bits do what. And how you get from your language to sort of what things mean to then what would be a natural translation of it to another language. So from today on, we'll be providing glosses when we do translations. So we're going to spend a lot of time doing this today. So we call this interlinear glossing because you had, as you saw before, you had a language, a translation, and then in between the lines, interlinearly, you have the glossing and breaking things apart. So what you're going to do is first, with your helpers, your mentors, you're going to start working at sentences and saying, what are the parts of the words? How are they composed? And you're going to start, highlighting them, maybe making potential splits. So like postman, you have the post and you have man come together as postman. Dog, you can see there's made of dog, and sort of break them apart. And then once you kind of figure out where the breaks are in your language and what sort of things your language does, then you can start making clear glosses like at the bottom, where you have a little symbol here that separates this off to show there's a structural difference, or that this word has many different things rolled into it with periods. And your mentor will talk to you about that. So, essentially, very important is when you do your interlinear gloss, you want to have all your words line up. So you have your text, and then underneath it you want to have things clearly visible so you know what goes with what. Because it's really hard to follow if everything is smushed together, and then there's just this string of hyphens and periods and strange abbreviations. And so you want to have it, you kind of see lined up.
An example of what not to do.
What? Oh, yes.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
It's hard to figure it out.
Is there one that has a good example?
No, I shouldn't.
Okay, well, we can imagine if it was good. So like dogs, are. So postman would be over here. So it's all spaced out nicely. Okay? And two symbols, we're mostly going to use here, is the hyphen. You use hyphens to find like structural words. So like dog, dogs. You can simply separate those things down to two components. So you're going to stick a hyphen there. Sometimes words, though, you're not going to be able to clearly see where they break, and there's going to be lots of things involved. So are is not is, but clearly it's related to that kind of like being. So you're going to have be, third person, plural. And if you don't know what these kind of things mean, don't worry. Your mentor will help you figure these kind of things out. But so just remember for now, hyphen means things you can break up, periods, things you got to squish together into one word. Okay, so it's your turn now. So today we're going to go through your languages and see if we can find some affixes, find things like reduplication, suppletion, start maybe doing the 3-line interlinear glosses on your text, and do some morphology and syntax templates. So please share with us if you have any questions, your mentors are here to help. Or if you, of course, find something that's fantastic and amazing and no one's ever discovered it before, we'd like to know about that too. Yeah, any questions or things like that? Nope.
Not yet? All right, we'll see what happens as you get working with your mentors. So this week we're going to be doing 2 templates in your webpage. The first, the morphology one, we're going to find interesting morphemes in our language and do play around with some interlinear glossing. And then we have a syntax page as well, which is pretty basic. We're just looking for noun phrases and verb phrases. So yeah, I'll let you guys break up and start working with your mentors, and then just let us know if you have any questions.
Probably you don't have one or many is probably the same, right?
Yeah, I think we don't have
What's the difference between I and we?
First person.
None.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's a
then-
little different, right?
So I.
I is na,
Uh huh.
we, this is na, ne, something like this.
So is the ne mean plural?
Yes, yes.
Is it like men in Chinese? Like woman, pound?
Yeah,
You have that?
yeah, yeah.
So how do you say like they or
Well, that's
he?
just a word. So
We have to say like a day,
and
adaraka, chidaraka. We got like some people.
This is from yesterday.
The schwa. But it does not part of schwa, you don't think?
No, no, no.
So nga schwa, nga the schwa,
Yeah, nga de chua.
nga shuo.
Yeah. If you say like nga shua means like vegetarian, you will go. But nga de chua, I think this one should have.
You think the does part of the past tense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nga de chua.
Okay,
I think it's same, right? Nga
okay,
shua,
so
nga de
like,
chua.
so what would it be for she? He's looking at his Flex dictionary to think of words to use for morphology.
That's fine. That's fine. It's nice to have a little database there.
Yeah.
So then, so this is I, this is we, this is she, and this is they. So for your language, it seems that they don't care if it's singular or plural, right? So if it's I or we, it doesn't change the verb. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so probably this doesn't.
I'm gonna put this capital letter as in what can I do?
with an accent on it.
I don't know where they're getting their information.
Yeah,
The verbs are in the beginning,
yeah, usually,
but not here.
yeah. But we can also put it that way. Chef is
You wrote,
so if
some
you
of
want
it's
to
genre,
be
so.
the recipient,
So there might be some information there, but you probably know a lot of
You
it.
make someone,
pakanan.
Yes.
Actually, you can also say pakanan taka.
Verbs are very
So it
complicated.
becomes shorter.
yeah.
So you might want to try to, because there's a syntax page. So you might try to explain that on syntax.
But if you want it to be longer,
Yeah.
then you can say it.
Why not?
Siyak so magpakan udsika. So it becomes in.
So we can go ahead and fill this out with a bunch of these. Well, we have this
So maybe you
one.
can explain.
I am putting the child to sleep. This is a good step.
But it's no longer plural.
So when you go back, if you want to still.
mga bata. We don't have batas. We don't have the right.
So it's a whole different word that means like many or a lot of or something.
Tao. People. Tao. Or mga in isolation. Mga.
Do the verbs ever change?
Oh, like many or a lot.
Many. Many is a different word. Many is dogma.
Well,
Many could be
part of bata.
And then,
I think it is a word.
Make the baby here plural. Make the baby sleeps. Mga bata. Patulog. Nako ang mga
Yeah, just you can
bata.
change it back to.
And it's one word.
okay, yeah, I usually so much, so that's fine.
So you think it's 2 words?
It's too. It's too.
Yeah, because like
This is sort of like a past tense.
You are like pretty.
That would be in the infix. In?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have sentences like
Because he seems to have some ideas, right?
Yeah.
So pinaugip ko may ugaw.
Yeah.
Right, so you need this, and then have you seen the spelling before?
Right, you put past
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
brackets like that.
So this is
It
one.
means that it's a sound that
So that's the
changes
in.
based on the other sounds.
Slowly.
Well, that's fine. Just leave that over there. These are kind of hard since the base is split in 2. You can't really. So yeah, just put it in there. That'll be fine.
You didn't know it's a participle when it stands on three.
Like, I don't know. Like, if you didn't have the rest, if you just had
You mean?
punajonian, would that mean like that food?
Oh yeah, that food.
Oh, okay.
What language
Yeah,
So
like
it's
the
either
food.
like
That food.
Can you use, like I said, it's like this without the cup? Like, if you saw like food being cooked by somebody, like a present, can you use it without? It has to have the cup.
It was heavy.
Okay. But you talk about something that's being done right now to something. So like, you're not talking about your friend. You're talking about the food. So the focus is like the food that's being cooked. The food is being cooked. Or that be with the tingon or tingon or whatever.
Interesting. What is it? You speak Chinese, right? Mandarin Chinese?
So,
It's Sichuan
Okay. So it's passive still, right?
Yeah.
So with the present.
Chinese.
With the progressive.
Yeah, progressive.
Progressive and then the G.
Okay. So that is a tense marker. Cause.
yeah,
Yeah, right.
being,
So you know what? We could gloss that as like past two instead of was.
You say my shoes and it's a mall.
Anyhow.
Okay. We're gonna do save.
Thank you for all your work and your hard work, because I know it's not really easy, right? It's a big, steep learning curve, and you're learning a lot about languages and linguistics, but hopefully with your mentors, you're making some headway. But of course, it's not without challenges. It's not without learning a lot. So I'm interested, as we wrap up, to hear about anything interesting you found out about your own language that maybe you didn't know before. A challenge that maybe you're facing in dealing with morphology and dealing with the words in your language. Mentors, feel free to chime in.
Well, I don't really know any rules about our language, about my dialect, so I confused Reina because I say one thing and when I say another sentence, it's a different structure and it's all a different structure for everything. So
Oh, there's rules, and Raina will figure it out.
I will.
Give me more
time. The best.
Yeah, languages have rules, and as a native speaker, you don't think about the rules. You just know what you can do, and you know what you can't do. But there's rules that we just don't know about.
Yeah, Reina will figure out.
You'll figure it out
Reina will
too.
figure it out.
She'll teach you your own rules.
But we did figure out some cool things, like there's a transitivizing causative marker, which is cool, so you, like when you feed someone something, which is fun. There's this na that keeps popping up everywhere that we don't know what it is, but we're going to figure it out, and it looks like there's vowel phonologic things going on inside morphemes.
And I'm discovering a lot of things, like I never really mind about it before, but now I'm trying to figure out how it really works, and I'm really glad that both of them are really helping me work out on my language. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot.
Great.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
That's good. Any interesting things you guys found, or?
It's her language is a Philippine type language, which is probably true for your language as well. So it has different focus markers for different arguments in the sentence, and that's pretty neat. And so we're trying to figure all of that out and pull it apart.
What did you learn?
Okay. Yeah, it's very hard to understand some linguistic term like morphology, compounding, and also another problem is it's very hard to figure out the rules in like grammar, syntax, like verb, all that stuff. Yeah, that's all.
So yeah, learning the rules.
Yeah,
Learning
yeah.
why you can do something in your language.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
not in this other sentence.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you find out anything interesting?
His language, the verbs change, the vowels change for tense, but the first person is different than all the other persons, which is kind of strange.
Okay.
And then there's no observe. We didn't figure out the pattern. It was different for every verb we looked at. So that was fun.
The vowels.
The vowels change. Yeah.
Really?
Sometimes it's the consonants.
It was fun, like to find words
I don't know, the morphology for me it's difficult, and think about my language. I have to like find many words in Tetum. It's
Find the words that fit the pattern,
yeah,
right?
to fit the pattern.
Yeah.
Because
Little
we have
difficult
yeah, a
to
little
take it
difficult.
apart.
Yeah, and some adjectives that we have to use in Tetum.
Mm-hmm.
To translate in English, it makes me get a headache.
Did you find some patterns, some things that?
Yes.
All right, excellent.
There was, well, I guess 2 morphemes, but they have the same, they sound the same, and we had to kind of split them apart. And
Oh, but they have 2
figure that
different
out.
functions,
Yeah.
doing 2 different things.
Mhm.
Cool.
I think we have interesting. There is. I know what's the difference between how to make the meaning. Because sometimes in Chinese language we have 2 words in when we say like rulers or more than one. If you want to say more than one, we have 2 words to say that. But in English, like we have cars, something like this.
Yeah, it's a little different, hard to describe
Yeah.
the process in English. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. Any other challenges or other things kind of cool you guys noticed?
Sure. From the Austronesian point, there's like fossilized infixes that we haven't figured out yet, and so focus stuff that's going on. So that'll be interesting to work on. But
Cool.
you know,